Now, is everyone ready? That's what I want to know. Alright. All the little boys and girls living in this crazy world, all they ever needed from you was maybe little love. My mother just couldn't deal with life. She had a husband who ran away to sea in the war zone. So I ended up living with an elder sister. Auntie Mimi and George were really the ones that took care of me. Not my mother. And it was just, except for George, granted, he was a nice guy and everything. But I was always with the women, and I always used to hear them talk about life and talk about men. And they always knew what was going on. The men never ever knew. And it was just a matter of time before I forgot about my father, because he was never there. And for me, it was like he was dead. But I did see my mother now and again, and my feeling for her never died off. Although I never realised that she lived no more than 3 fucking miles from my auntie's. Mimi never told me. She just said, "John, your mother lives a long way away." And being the bastard that I was, the little kid, I didn't know any better. I just believed her. And it really makes me angry that I never got to see my mother, during that time when I was young. I could have just, for Christ's sake, I could have walked down the road for a little bit and could have seen her. But when I was 14, I did start seeing my mother again. And she taught me how to play the banjo and then the guitar. And unfortunately, she was run over by an off-duty policeman who happened to be drunk at the time. And it absolutely made me very, very bitter. I was playing the guitar all the time then, and of course, Mimi she was throwing away my poems and my drawings. And I told her, you're going to regret throwing away that bastard stuff when I'm famous. But she threw the fucking stuff away anyway. She said, playing the guitar is all very fine, John, but you'll never make a living out of it. I had no idea of doing, music as a way of life until rock and roll hit me. that changed my life. I was always hearing Buddy Holly and, Elvis, Heartbreak Hotel. I had no idea. That was just, I would have been a fisherman, That's what I would have taken, the road that I would have taken in Liverpool if I hadn't gotten into rock and roll. That's not to say that I didn't always know I was going to make it. I always knew I was going to make it. As a child, I would read reviews of books or music or art, and I'd expect to see my name there, in the papers, before I'd ever put anything out or anything. I'd not done anything. I was expecting to be famous. I knew it was just a matter of time, because I saw things that other people didn't see. As a child, I would say, "But this is what's happening," and everybody look at me as if I'm crazy. It's the same problem that I had when I was 12, that I had when I was 5. And, it was just, the self-doubt was always there. Am I crazy or am I a genius? I don't think I'm either. But anyway, little boys and girls, I want to return to the story because I know you're just so happy to learn about rock and roll. About the time of rock and roll in Britain, there was a thing called skiffle. And it was kind of like American folk music, except with a jiggy jinga, with washboards. And all the kids, 15 onwards, would have these groups. And I formed one called the Quarrymen. And, we played wherever we could. Church gatherings or, lawns. It was just finding the places. And I met Paul McCartney in one of these gatherings. And he knew 20 Flight Rock by Eddie Cochran. And so I asked him, right off, do you want to join the group? And I think he said yes the next day. But Paul was writing his own songs at the time. And, I got jealous. I said, you little bastard, I'm going to go write my own songs too. And so I did. And I wrote my first song when I was 18. And that's called Hello Little Girl. And I want to play it right now. Hello little girl. Hello little girl. Hello little girl. we tried to put a group together, you know, a whole band, and George came through Paul. He was the best guitar player, you know, that we ever had. He played better than all of us. And Peter was our drummer, you know, he was a little bit slow, but he was a nice guy. And, you know, his mother actually let us use the basement so that we could do our early recordings and play down there. And in 1960, I convinced my auntie Mimi to let us go to Hamburg. And, you know, we went there and it was great, but it was hard. You know, we were working 8 or 9 hours a night. It was a full factory day. And in the beginning, we had no audience. You know, so we had to work our asses off to get people in. People would appear at the door of the club and there'd be nobody sitting at the tables. You know, we used to try to get people to come in to buy beer or something. So, you know, in the beginning, people would walk by and we'd just kick into dancing in the street and, you know, just rock out, pretending we hadn't seen them. And then after a while, you know, it started to catch on and we sold out. And after that, we went back to Liverpool and we played at a place called the Cavern. And there was then that Brian Epstein came to us and said, you know, well, do you want me to be a manager? He was a local record dealer. And well, we said, you know, okay, we didn't know what was going on. And Brian was really the one that, you know, said, look, if you really want to get into these bigger places, you're going to have to change. You're going to have to stop eating on stage, stop smoking, stop swearing on stage. You know, it was a choice of either making it or still eating chicken on stage. We made a tape, which was through Brian's help that we did, and you know, it was pretty good. It was for Decca Records, and we brought it to all the other things, and well, we did Barry Gordy Jr. numbers. That's the point. The best things in life are free, but you can keep them for the birds and bees. Now give me money, that's what I want. That's what I want, yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I want. And I played songs like this. Oh wait, she's sweet, just walking down that street. Well, I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet? We brought the tape to all the different record companies, you know. No one accepted us. You know, they didn't think that the Beatles were any good. They thought, well, guitars, you know, guitar groups are going out of style, and, you know, they wouldn't accept us at all. So we had bad luck with that, but finally, you know, George Martin at EMI, finally really, he was the one who let us in and said, you know, well, you can play your songs if you really want to, you know. And so we did Love Me Do, which was our hit. You know, it hit 17 on the charts, and so after we did that, you know, it wasn't a great song, it was just Love, Love Me Do, you know I love you, but it hit number 17 on the charts. And so, you know, when next time we went to the studio, and they were a little bit more friendlier to us, you know, oh, hi guys, come on in. And so we recorded this number, which was, it would hit number 1 as well, and it was called Please Please Me. And it was one that I wrote, actually. And I want to play a little bit of it. Last night I said these words to my girl. I know you never even try, girl. And after Please Please Me hit number 1, we said, well, we're big hotshots, we're good. Do you want to record an album? We said, well, sure, you know, we'd love to do it. And the whole album was done in one 12-hour long session. And it was 12 hours, you know, because they wouldn't spend any more money on the Beatles. They didn't think we were any good. And, but the last number to be done was called Twist and Shout. And it nearly killed me. You know, I was always bitterly ashamed of it because I knew I could sing better than that. But now I don't mind it so much, you know, you can just tell my friend's a guy trying to do his best. But I want to play Twist and Shout now because it's a good number. Well, shake it on, baby, now shake it on, baby. Twist and shout, twist and shout. Come on, come on, come on, come on, baby, now. Come on, baby. We told Ryan we didn't want to go to America till we'd hit a number one. And, you know, because we'd seen a lot of other groups that were popular in Liverpool, but once they got to the US, they were nobodies. You know, they just weren't worth anything. But we did that. We hit a number one in America, and it was called I Wanna Hold Your Hand. And when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love I can hide, I can hide, I can hide. Oh yeah, you got that something I think you'll understand when I say that something. I wanna hold your hand, I wanna hold your hand, I wanna hold your hand. I'm gonna quit now because this is really shitty. I don't want to do this anymore. Fuck this.